One of my absolute favorite things to do is to go to restaurants. It's one of the reasons why it is that I started this Take 5 for Foodies program on KTAR.com. Pat McMahon and food, introducing you perhaps for the first time to seafood. People really do feel somehow disassociated from seafood, shellfish, and fish all of their lives, even if they don't have an allergy. Why is that? And I'm asking you, Jeff Martineau, because you should know, coming from the Bluewater Grill.
Yeah, I think that people are intimidated by seafood a little bit, especially here in the desert if they didn't grow up around it. But it really is one of the most healthy foods that you can eat, and there is ways to find good quality seafood here in the desert.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. This is the desert, and look, I found it. It's right here on the table. And you're going to describe, Jeff, from that point around here, exactly what it is that we have featured at this part of the Bluewater Grill, the television version.
Yeah, these are just a few of the items that we carry. We have fresh yellowfin tuna right off the bat here, fresh yellowfin tuna from Fiji. We have sea scallops that come from Massachusetts, wild prawns from Mexico. This is Atlantic salmon. We have fresh Alaskan halibut, fresh swordfish. I brought some Alaskan king crab legs.
Well, we're going to be talking about the crab legs and the oysters in just a minute, because on behalf of all the doofuses of the world who say, I don't want to go to a seafood restaurant because I don't know how to get into the darn things, but I want to know about freshness. When we're buying seafood, fresh fish of any kind, how do we know when it's fresh and when it isn't from the market or when we order it from you?
Well, first of all, you want to be buying from a reputable purveyor. You know, we only buy from reputable, long-standing wholesalers, and you know, when it comes to looking at the fish and buying the fish, you want to look for color, you want to look for odor. In fact, no odor is what you should smell. You shouldn't smell anything except for the ocean.
So if it smells fishy, then forget it.
Chances are it would be past its prime. If it smells fishy, it's not, you know, a good quality product.
What do you mean color, though? I mean, they're all different colors.
You know, color, you know, like a nice pink and a nice red, and not like your browns or dull colors. Like yellow is not a good color, brown is not a good color. But your pink colors, your red colors, you know, when the fish has a nice shine to it, when it kind of glistens in the light, you can tell that it's still moist and it hasn't been, you know, exposed to the air for too long and just kind of handled and out there too much. So
I hear you. Now, wait just a second, because at KTAR.com, we have two-way operations here. I hear you. You're saying, well, yeah, sure. He sounds like a general manager at a seafood restaurant on Camelback and the freeway, but how does he know this much? Because you're a fisherman yourself, you son of a gun. You've got trophies at home saying you caught the biggest or the most bass.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I've grown up bass fishing my whole life, actually. And, you know, grew up on the coast in Massachusetts, so I've been around seafood all my life. So I know a little bit about it, but also being, you know, with this company for as long as I have been, I've picked up a few things as far as seafood knowledge, as far as that goes. So I know what to buy and how it should
All right,
look.
here's the test, Mr. Smart-alecky Fisher guy here with the bass trophies. I don't know how many times you've had occasion to haul in a load of oysters, but you work with them every day, right?
Yep.
Shuck me an oyster.
I've shucked thousands of oysters in my life and in my years being
Yeah, but
there.
the pressure is on now because you're
The pressure is on?
This is it.
Real easy if you're doing this at home.
Yeah.
You want to place the oyster in a towel. You know, nice and simple. The towel actually protects your hand from the shucker. The shucker's
okay, now can you point it toward the camera?
Sure I can.
All right.
Right in the palm of my hand. Just going to hold it like that, get a good little grip on it. Get the shucker in the hinge, if I can get it in there.
Okay.
And then you want to wiggle the shucker in.
By the shucker, can it just be a knife?
Yeah, it's also called an oyster knife. You can call it that.
All right.
But you want to let the shucker or the oyster knife do the work for you. Just kind of wiggle it into that hinge.
Uh-huh.
Every oyster has a different shape. They're like snowflakes. Every one is different.
Don't we all?
That's you just want to pop that top once it's in. Give it a little pop.
Oh.
Pry the shell up just a little bit. And then actually pull the shell off of the oyster.
Could you put the finished product, please,
oh, sure.
on the plate?
Yeah.
The absence of a pearl, of course, means I'm no longer interested. But I thank you very much. Now, I happen to like seafood that comes in these kinds of shells, crab and lobster. And almost every guy in the world who has gone out on a date and has gone to a seafood restaurant like Bluewater Grill has said, how do I do this without looking like a complete fool?
Well, similar technique. You can actually use your napkin or ask for an extra napkin. Typically in the restaurant, we're going to serve this with a slice down the side so it helps you to get into it easier.
Bigger tip.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully, yeah. Yeah, we hope for that. But if you're there, you know, a great technique is to just take your
okay.
fork
Yeah.
and put that one last, you know, little prong of your fork into that shell, just a little bit. You find that opening and you get it in there, and then you just want to crack it. Slide it in, crack it, and just go all the way up the shell like that.
Oh, you do know what you're doing.
Yeah.
To get into that delicious crab meat.
So then, you know, you expose that whole stretch, and you can pry that shell open, and there's the crab. Beautiful red king crab.
I'm just sitting here and admiring that, particularly because you were the one who opened it.
That's the best king crab that you can get, red Alaskan king crab. It's super sweet, really good.
What
We've
about the
always got
seafood?
it.
What about the seafood that you get from Japan? Obviously, we're deeply concerned about radiation continuing and affecting the seafood that we got in such abundance from there. Do we still?
Sure, we don't. You know, we never really have depended on that market. You know, most of the commercial fishing around Japan has been, you know, overfished. You know, they're famous for kind of undermanaging or overfishing their oceans around there. So what I've heard is that, you know, that is going to dissipate, but there's no commercial product coming from that area anyway. So supposedly we have nothing to worry about, but, you know, we as Bluewater Grill don't buy any product from that area, period.
So far, you have managed to see the general manager of Bluewater Grill describe all of these extraordinary fresh fish types, sizes, and origins. You've seen him open shuck and oyster. You've seen him open a crab claw. The only thing you haven't seen him do is tell you where it is you can find him on a nightly basis. It's address time.
Bluewater Grill, 1720 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. We're just east of 16th Street on the north side of Camelback Road.
Spoken like a championship bass fisherman.
Thank you very much.
Jeff Martineau. I'm Pat McMahon. This is Take 5 for Foodies.